You don't like my skirt?
That's much.
I have
I
two
like
like
the
it. I have a yellow one and
I know.
It's the only thing I have. I don't wear
I
shorts.
like the shirt.
She would look good in shorts, but she
I know.
she'd look good in a short dress too,
You
like
look good
the
in
wear
those
now.
navy ones. I gave Mom a pair. She took
I
me
know.
back.
I wear them around to walk, to take a walk
They
around.
look good on you.
I know, but
No, I'm getting veins myself.
You know
and
what
I'm
she
still
did
wearing
yesterday afternoon?
That's not my
In
pants.
90.
I don't mind my
I
pants.
have a thing too. I can't get over her shoes. They look comfortable.
I got the same shoes.
Yeah, they look. How much are shoes like this?
How much were yours?
Are they leather?
How much were yours?
I bet you paid a lot of money for about $40
More.
more than that. I never saw shoes like this here. Florida, this is too hot.
I know. I don't know why she would.
That's all right. She wore them for traveling.
Traveling.
That's all right. Taking pictures then.
Smile nice into the camera, Mother.
I don't know that I'm looking into the camera.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, the albums. I did not put them on my
Who's this cover with you?
Something about. Grandma, this is you at what age? This picture.
Where?
This picture. What
I
age?
must have been 15 years old. I don't know. Must have been about 15 years old. Yeah.
Want me to hold it? You can come in now.
Oh, she's taking a picture of it.
Okay, and who's this? These your parents?
Yeah. Are these your mother and father?
Let's see.
That's the.
No,
Oh, that's.
this is my uncle and his wife.
And what does it say on the back? It says something in Hebrew.
In
Oh,
Yiddish.
he was a Hebrew
That's
teacher.
Yiddish? It's Hebrew. What does it say?
She krijgt die fotograaf. Meine
Yiddish.
met Zelda, that's my mother's sister. This is my mother's sister. This is her brother and that's her sister.
What does the note say though? What is
Read it in Yiddish.
She krijgt die
I'm sending
fotografen.
you a photograph.
Meine mit Zelda zusammen. Her name was Zelda.
Zelda and me
Zum
together.
Montag, wir haben sich fotografiert zusammen zu einem ewigen Andenk. That's beautiful.
I don't understand what that means.
It's
Zum
for a memory forever. So, ewigen Andenk.
And what does the beginning say? Some what?
Andenk.
Yeah. To remember.
Zusammen zum Andenk. Wir haben sich fotografiert.
In order that you should remember us forever.
Fotografiert zusammen zu einem ewigen Andenk.
We had photographed
to remember us forever, like.
We had photographed ourselves
Maya
together
Mott-
that you
Maya
may remember forever.
Maya Mott Epstein. My mother's name was Epstein. Epstein, in Europe. Fotografia This is Polish.
This is Polish.
Yeah.
What does it say over here?
Where?
That's right here.
Sister.
That's Vera, right?
Yeah.
This is Grandma's older sister, Doris. Vera.
And this is Dave's.
Dave's oldest children,
Bernard and
and Solomon. Bernie and Saul.
Should call up Jewel and say hello to
I'll
her.
call her.
Who's that?
Who is this, Mother?
That's my uncle. That's
The same. Oh, that's
the
Uncle.
same guy.
What's his name?
Mayor Muttle.
Mayor Muttle. This is Uncle Mayor Muttle. And
Mayor, you see the way
do
he
you know who this is? Do you know who this woman is?
No.
Guess who this
I can't
woman
see.
is?
Your boyfriend's name.
Turley.
Told you.
How old were you in that picture?
About 19, 20, I don't know. We were going together for about 3-4 years.
And what happened?
I left.
Well, how come?
I left for the United States.
Yeah. And what happened to Toya?
I didn't want him anymore.
You didn't. You didn't want him to follow you.
No, I came to Canada.
Yeah.
I was struggling in Canada, and he wanted to come, and he couldn't understand that I'm struggling. That life is entirely different
Mhm.
in Canada than it was in Europe.
Mhm.
And
What did he do for a living? What was his work?
he didn't do. Who did anything in Europe?
Well, I don't know. Was he?
He learned
was
to
he
be
a professional?
an accountant.
Oh,
He learned to be an
I
accountant.
thought he was an artist.
He was an artist. That's besides the point.
No, it's not besides the point.
He didn't do anything with it.
He
But
was.
he was an artist. Oh, was he an artist? I had a couple pictures. I don't know what happened that I brought with me, but
That
many
he
years
painted.
ago.
Who's this?
This is my sister Shani, I think,
That's me.
with Bernard that I don't hear
Ma.
from.
That's Dad, and that's me.
Oh, for goodness sake! I'm not.
And this is me,
Yeah,
Ethelyn, and I think this is my friend Wilhelmina. Was that Wilhelmina?
I don't know. I don't know. It's so many years. Who the hell can remember it?
And
I forget things from yesterday. How can I remember from many years back?
So who's this? And now here's Toya and
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah,
And who's the woman?
my sister Funky.
Oh, that's your older sister, Funky.
Yeah, the oldest.
The oldest woman,
Yeah.
the girl
oldest
in the
of the
family,
sisters,
of
yeah.
all the women in the
Yeah.
family.
Really something.
Now who's this? Is that cousin Bernard? My cousin Bernard?
It must be. I don't
But
know.
who's this, Mother? Is this you?
Yeah, that's me.
Uh-huh.
My friends and I in Canada, when I lived in Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know the names, completely.
Yeah. Who is this over here?
This is, I think, my mother's sisters. We were very close with my mother's sister. My mother's sister's son and his wife.
Mm-hmm. And they were married in Europe. That's a European picture, yes?
I don't remember.
This is an interesting picture, Mother. What picture is this?
Well, try and find me here. That was my graduation picture.
I see you right here.
Did you find me?
Mm-hmm.
This is my school.
What school was this?
Hebrew school.
What's the name of it?
Just Hebrew school.
Yeah?
How old were you then? It's graduation. When did you graduate?
I don't know.
Was that
one-
13, 14, something like that? The boys, of course,
No,
look like
16.
little guys, and the girls look a little more mature.
No, we were all about the same age.
Yeah.
We were all about the same age.
And which is your teacher? All
The
three?
teachers are over here. He's a teacher, and he's a teacher, and who is?
Do you remember their names?
No.
Here, sit down a minute. So you can...
It's so many years ago. I want to stand up.
Oh,
Right?
no, not at
I
all.
want to stand up. I can stand up. Thank God.
This is a beautiful picture. Who is this, Ma?
Who is this? Who do you think is this?
Well, you I recognize, but who's the
That's
other one?
Michli, my cousin Michli.
Michli. Cousin Michli.
Oh, this picture. Oh,
Isn't that a good picture? Oh, I remember these pictures. Yeah, we were at At the creek or the
Yeah,
gorge?
yeah,
At the
yeah.
creek. We used to call it the
Something.
creek. We used to go to
Yeah,
swim in
yeah.
Canajoharie.
And here,
Here's the creek, and
Yeah.
here's that infant Naomi. These pictures are of the parade at the end of World War II. There was a big parade, as there was in every town. There was a huge parade in the town, and everyone gathered on the side as we celebrated the end of the war.
this is me, and oh, this were friends of ours.
From Amsterdam.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the couple from Amsterdam that we knew.
Oh, I don't know.
I remember. I was about 6 or 7 there. Okay, these are interesting. Who this I know is your brother Dave, Uncle
Yeah.
Dave. Who are these other men? I don't know who they are.
They're from Montreal.
Uh-huh.
They're from Montreal. This was a, what do you call it? A monument.
Yeah.
And they're both from Montreal.
Uh-huh. Do you remember their names?
No.
Uh-huh.
No.
And this is Uncle Dave with Bernard, probably.
Must be Bernard.
And Aunt Jewel, also probably with
Yeah,
Bernard.
with one of the kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Bernard.
That's Bernard, too. Uncle Dave and Aunt Jewel had 7 children.
This is Bernard and Sal, I think.
Yeah, that's Bernard and Saul.
And this is me.
Here we are in Canajoharie with our little Plymouth.
It's the
Outside.
first car we bought.
Outside. Is that outside the Mill Street apartment?
Which?
Yeah, that must be outside the apartment on Mill Street.
Where? This?
No, right here.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I forgot it.
And this picture's from Europe also, right?
This is a European picture. This is, I belong to a chorus.
Mm-hmm.
And we all went to park or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was, and we took a picture, all of us.
So can you find Grandma? Can you find yourself in it?
I think this is me.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a picture. Here,
Yeah.
let Wendy see that. Isn't that you with a
Yeah,
sailor
this
shirt?
is me. Yeah, I wanted to be seen, so that's right.
So you wore a white shirt.
A white blouse with a sailor collar.
Uh-huh.
And that blouse I remember.
Yeah, that's a very nice blouse.
Yeah, should have saved it.
You sure should have. And this is
He was supposed to be, he's supposed to be in Israel, I think. My aunt's son. What, did you know some of them?
who?
Ginny, did you know Ginny?
Yeah, sure.
That's her father.
That's her father.
Yeah.
Ginny,
And that's
Ginny,
his sister.
Ginny's
They were
father,
killed.
before the outbreak of the war, went to
Argentina,
Uruguay.
whatever it was.
Uruguay. And they spent the war years there, and they eventually, after the war, the family began to emigrate to the United States.
No, not the United States. It went to Israel.
Oh, someone did. Well, Ginny came to the
Oh,
United
yeah,
States.
yeah. And this is his sister.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful girl.
Mhm.
2 children, I think.
This is the back of our house in
Oh,
Canajoharie, where we lived.
That's right.
That's the back porch of the house.
And this is
We
the,
lived in these adjoining houses.
and
There
this
were
was
7 houses in a row, and each had a front entrance and a back entrance.
this was a parade.
This is the parade, and another picture after the war.
Now, this is my aunt's, the one with my uncle, her daughter
Uh-huh.
and son-in-law. They were killed.
What are their names?
Her name was Rivka.
Rivka?
Yeah, my name.
Uh-huh.
And his name I don't remember.
And what happened during the war?
They got killed by Hitler.
They did.
Hitler killed them.
But do you know where they ended up? Do you know what the story is?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
They were in the camps?
They must have been, I don't, they lived in Bialystok.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. This is her
Oh,
with 2
yeah.
friends, I
Oh, yeah.
guess.
Quite a picture there. Isn't
I,
that?
I never look at that. This is a parade in Canajoharie, is it?
The order of this book is incredible.
Here you are,
Uh-huh.
and here I am,
Uh-huh.
and here you are.
Mhm.
And what is this? That's your
My
father.
father, and that's our Mill Street apartment where we live?
And this is
Part of what? Part of the our
my
the time.
uncle's daughter from Finnick. My uncle's daughter. I don't remember. Now this is my uncle's two sons. They went to Russia. They were both killed.
Why did they go to Russia?
They ran away from Poland. They were accused of being communists.
And they went to Russia for
They
what?
went to Russia.
To escape, and why were they
It was-
killed?
Were they communists?
But I don't know. They must have been communists. I don't know.
Well, a lot of
But the
people were
communists got a
communists
hold
at
of
that
them.
time. Well, why were they killed, do you think?
Because in Russia they killed a lot of people. Stalin.
Yeah,
That was Stalin's time.
yeah,
Now this is you.
Yeah.
And this is you.
right.
And in a dysfunctional room. 3 generations ago.
Why you sit? Tell us a story, Graham,
What story?
about the shtetl and the Rebbe.
There was no Rebbe. There was no Rebbe in Shtetl.
Oh,
Maybe there was. I don't know where. Yeah, there was. There was a Rebbe. And there was a shtibel
what's that?
where the Hasidim would go to pray. They called it a shtibel.
What was the name of your shtetl? Did it have a name?
Finnick.
Oh yeah.
Finnick.
How many people?
I don't know. 5,000, 10,000, 5,000? I don't know how big Finnick was.
Did you live in town?
Of course I lived in town. Where else?
How many Jews lived in the town?
It was all Jews.
Mm-hmm. Were there any?
The outskirts were some were non-Jews. But in the town itself, there was a market in the middle of the town and there were stores. And Thursday, once a year, on Thursday there used to be
Once a week?
once a week, yeah. Thursday, all the peasants would come from around and sell their stuff, different things.
What kinds of things? I can't hear.
Chickens and things like this and whatever. What are you looking for, Simona? I don't want you to shut it off. You were cold.
Yeah.
And whatever they used to grow.
And so what happened? The villagers, the people in the shtetl would come out? And they would buy
Everybody would go to the mark. They called it a mark.
a mark?
A mark it's a market, big.
What language is that? German? Mark? Or
A
Polish?
Jewish word.
Oh, a Yiddish word?
Mark is a market, but that mark was big. It was like in a big sense. And we used to, my mother used to go and buy some things, a lot of things they used to sell. So that's that. That was once a week.
Tell about your family who lived in the house. How many people in the house?
Who lived in the house? In the beginning, I don't know. I wasn't there yet. But when my mother was raising, I was raised like an only child, because when I wasn't born yet, one brother went to the United States. That's Benny, and then Izzy followed.
And you,
Because Benny had it very bad. He couldn't make a living. He didn't have enough money to buy food, to buy bread. He had to use for his shoes, to tie his shoes. He had to couldn't afford to buy shoestrings, little ropes. So my brother Izzy went to the United States to see what goes on and maybe make him come back maybe. Now my brother Benny was in jail in Europe, in Poland, for 9 months, I think. Not in the town, in a bigger town, which was the main town of the, like of the, not a few, like a gubernia means like a,
Like a county.
like a county.
What for?
So he was in jail because they said that he was a revolutionary, and they put him in jail by the I think that was the Russians at that time. We had a Tsar. Well, in those years I was born. I was a little child when the Russians were there, and so he was a revolutionary. I wasn't born then yet, and they put him in jail.
How many brothers and sisters have
That's
lived
why
in?
he went to the United States, because my mother and father sent him away.
How did he get to the United States?
How did he get? He went by ship.
No, but I mean, was it easy for him to just get out? I mean, what did he have to go through
I
to
don't know.
leave?
I don't know. I don't know, but he got out. So my brother Izzy went to the United States to see what he can do for him. The two brothers, my brother Izzy and Betty, they were very devoted to each other. They were brought up like together. So he went to see what he can do for him. My brother Izzy had a factory. He had a leather factory. And he was a boy. So he gave it up and he went to the United States to see what he can do for Betty. So he remained here. They got into peddling fruits and vegetables until the day of their death. They brought up families and everything. So
So how many brothers and sisters lived in your house when you were growing up
when I was there,
in Poland?
I don't know.
Fromke was there?
Well, she was married when I was a little child. She was married.
Well, Uncle Chaim was there?
Uncle Chaim left. He was 16 years old.
But you
How old were you when
I
he
was-
was
when I-
16?
When my sister Dwayne left, I think I was 11 years old. About 11 years old, I was a bit there. Do you think that I can remember all this? It's not easy. The numbers are not easy. I only remember I was sick. We got used to hearing the planes throwing bombs.
Well, so you
That
were
was the Russians were fighting. The Germans were fighting the Russians.
In the First World War.
That's
1914 to 1918.
when I was a little child. My mother was we were running to a basement to hide. My father wouldn't go. He said he's going to stay there to hide from the shootings. And a bomb, not a bomb, exploded while we were running to go to hide in the basement, right in the front of us.
A grenade, like a grenade or
Like
shrapnel?
like a grenade, I think. Like a grenade. And it split in little pieces as we were running. She was holding onto my hand. You know, it's so hard to remember. It's so many years ago.
so you were the youngest of how many?
Of 9 children.
And did you? So
My mother had 10, but one died. A twin.
Dave's twin.
There's twin.
And did you go to school then when you were living at home?
No, I wasn't. I was too young, too little.
Do you go to school?
Of course I went to school.
How old?
How old? I started school from the, I think I got into the 3rd grade. I remember my sister was coaching me. If they asked me questions about the Bible, Joshua, who was the first king, and when I started school, I wasn't 5 years old, because at that time we had war. So anyway.
So you didn't start until 3rd grade.
I think I don't remember, Simone. So anyway, I started school, Hebrew school. And I was going until I graduated. Many years later.
And so you graduated high school. You stayed in.
Well, it was, you see, in Europe there is such a thing as a gymnasium.
Did you graduate high school?
It's not high school.
Oh,
Yeah, I started
the
to tell you.
gymnasium.
I started to tell you. We only had until 8th grade, was it? It was a different system at that time. You know, we had 6th class of gymnasium, which was equal almost to university. You know, now our school, when it came to second grade, it was like a gymnasium because now I had an aunt in the city, which was called Bialystok. And in Bialystok, there was a gymnasium, one of the best in whole Poland. That was Poland. The best in whole Poland with education. And I stayed in Bialystok a whole summer taking private lessons to get prepared. We had to learn the Bible and deep like Talmud. You know what Talmud is, Naomi?
What's Talmud?
Talmud is the deep learning of Gemara. Did you hear Gemara? Talmud, Gemara. I learned Talmud. I forgot it, but we had to. This is very hard. That's from the Hebrew Bible.
I thought women weren't allowed to learn Talmud.
Yeah.
Who said so? That was the religious maybe ones. Women didn't learn in those years altogether. You see, our school was a modern school, just like a public school. Only this was a private Hebrew school.
So your family's
So I went to Bialystok and I stayed a whole summer with my aunt. And I paid a private teacher, and they prepared me to take exams. And I took exams. I didn't succeed with the exams. Instead of going into the 6th class, I got into the 5th class. And it was very hard. It was too hard. So I wrote to my mother that I'm coming back. It's too hard for me. I had to struggle. My aunt had an apartment hardly enough for herself. So I came back home. But when I came back home, a couple of teachers came and they tried to organize a gymnasium that's higher than the school that I graduated from. I knew a lot of Hebrew. I forgot it.
How old were you at that age now?
I must have been 16 years old.
Skipped a
You know, about that. So anyway, I don't remember. So I started to go there. Take a look in the back. There's nothing. I'll open up the door.
About 16, and you stayed
I
for
must have
another
been
couple of years doing what?
Doing what?
What did you do the next till you were about 18? Were you
Nothing. Did nothing.
chores, work?
No work.
Did you do chores?
No.
And you had that, and you went with that guy about
Yes,
that
I
time.
had a
right?
boyfriend.
What was his name again?
24 years.
What was his name?
His name was Tolly.
And that's about the age you had him. You were with him.
Yes.
What did your father do?
My father was a worker. I don't know if he was working after the war was over. He was working he was a factory worker on leather. Our town was named as a leather town.
Mm-hmm.
They used to bring, that's what my father used to do. They used to have skins of all kinds of skins, raw skins, and my father used to work them out in the factory. His hands were always full of sores because that was the most stable job too. He was working in one place for 25 years. He was a foreman like.
How much money did he make? Do you know?
You're asking me, how should I? I don't know. He brought up a family.
But he was a very religious man too, right?
Oh, very religious. No word. My brother Louis told me that one time on a Saturday, he made up what do you call a skate. He made it up himself. And a Saturday afternoon, he tried to go skating with it. You know what my father did to him? He tied him up and put him under the table and punished him. He beat him. My brother Louis told me that a few years before he died. Because my father found out about it.
And your father davened
If he davened?
every day?
Of course. Of course. He used to go. Look, when I went to school.
I'll shut it. I'll shut it.
Don't shut it off. Leave it open a little. Don't shut it off. I'll say
What relationship did you have with your father?
no relationship.
How come?
I don't remember anything. Because he was
What was he like?
very hard to take.
Why?
Was he mean?
I don't know. I can't explain it.
Did it have something to do with how religious he was?
Yes.
What do you mean? Tell us more about that.
He wanted, especially his sons, to do things the way he does.
But did that
Synagogue with everything. The one who followed him was the only one who was hiding.
and not
Of all the brothers. You know, my brother Easy remembered all what his father did to him in respect of the kosher things. That he used to come when Dora had the restaurant. He used to go every Sunday morning to have bacon and eggs.
Uncle Lizzie?
Yes. And Uncle Lizzie had a religious wife. Eva was religious.
Aunt Eva.
Yes. She was religious, but she never knew about it. But I know about it. Because Dora told me. Dora was like a sister to me. Oh, I'll never forget.
What about your mother? What was your
Oh,
mother?
my mother was very gentle. My mother, she went through hell with my father. She had a bigger life than him. I used to say to my mother, why don't you divorce him? Why did you ever divorce him?
Did people divorce in that day?
Huh?
Did people divorce in those
They
days?
didn't.
Men would divorce, no? Men would divorce sometimes.
If they wanted to, but nobody did.
Oh.
Nobody did.
And what about, so your mother,
My mother, if she would talk to somebody, my father would like it.
He was jealous.
I don't know what he was. I don't think he knew himself.
and what did your mother do? She did women work?
My mother made starch to help out to get a few dollars, whatever it was the money. Oh my goodness. Something. She used to make starch. People used to come and buy starch from her.
How come there were so many children? Did everybody have so many children?
Yes.
Oh.
That's all they did. That was the pleasure. They didn't know any better. They didn't know any different.
Well, it was also the religious life. The way to lead
Yes.
a religious life.
Yes, yes.
That was the most important.
My mother used to go to shul every Saturday morning. I don't remember if she'd go to shul Friday night.
No.
Saturday morning, every Saturday morning.
So what happened when you came about 18? Is that when you left?
No, I was a little older, about 19, 20. My mother and father left before me. They left for the United States the year before I did.
And where did you stay? In the same house?
We had a house. I had to sell the house. I told you what happened. I had a neighbor who wanted to take the house away from me. He thought he could do it because I was there alone. And I told him to go to the rabbi of the city, who was very honored by everybody. Everybody had respect for him. And I came to the rabbi and I banged the table. I said, Rabbi, he wants to take the house away from me. This is my house. And the rabbi let him have it. You know, I was alone. So I sold the house. I sold the house and that's it. And then I left for the United States.
And what about your boyfriend there?
He wanted me to bring him over. I didn't want to.
How did you get to the United States? They sent
I
for you?
didn't go to the United States. I went
okay.
to Canada.
Right, so how did that happen?
I went to Canada.
How did you
My
get
bro-
papers, though?
My brother Chaim went to Canada before I came to the United States because it was easy to go to Canada than go to the United States.
What did we have? What was in the United States that you couldn't come?
The immigration. There was no immigration. They wouldn't let people in.
Quota system.
Yeah, quota system. So he went to Canada. And in Canada, he started to pedal. He was there a year. And after a year, he got to the United States. When he came to the United States, Benny and Louie and Lizzie, they were all pedaling. That's where they made a living. So he started to pedal too.
What did they pedal?
Oh, Chaim was pedaling in Canada, not with fruit and vegetable, but with items. He used to go to sell it to people. And that's how Chaim came to had to open up a store too. So when Chaim came to the United States, when I had to come, he already had a way of coming to Canada. So he went to Canada, he knew some people, and it wasn't known that he wasn't. I think I was coming to him to Canada through the Hayas. You know what the Hayas is?
Hebrew immigrant.
They're still in existence.
Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society.
Yes. So they worked it out, so I'll come to Canada.
How did you travel there?
By ship. I was sick on the ship.
Do you remember?
11 days.
11 days?
Yes. I was sick like a dog. I didn't even see the ship. I didn't even know what the ship looked like. I was seasick. I was traveling with a Greek girl in the same room. We used to talk to each other in motions. But when I got off the ship, I got off the ship in Halifax, not Montreal. And I traveled day and night, I think, from Halifax to Montreal. I don't remember how long. And when I got off, when the train stopped, that was safe. And the man comes over, are you Rivki Stromer? I said, yes. He says, look, your brother couldn't make it because his wife is going to have a baby before you was born. And he couldn't make it. But don't worry, we'll place you somewhere. I started to cry. That was sad. That already was sad. Well, anyway, he takes me into the train, to the station, and who is there but Chaim with some landslide from Kevin that I didn't know, and I met them. Collingwood one was, and another was Cynthia Buxton. Oops, so many years came to my mind. And so we were there a little while and we started to go to see where we want to go. So we went to one family, very poor family, but they accepted us with such open arms. We slept over there. I don't remember where we ate, what we ate, and I don't remember. But we slept over one night there. They hardly had any room for themselves, but they gave us a place to sleep over. I and myself. I can write a book of my life.
So what happened then?
After a couple of days, one day, he was getting ready to go back. And I remember it was a day almost like today, raining and pouring, and I started to cry. He says to me, "What are you crying about?" I says, "I don't know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be." Well, anyway, rented me a room for $8 a week. That was an awful lot of money. That was 1930. $8 a week was a lot of money, especially in Canada. The money in Canada was lower than the money in the United States. But I'm very religious people, very religious. With food and board. So then, what am I going to do to make a living? So, one of the landlords, he was a foreman in a factory, in a dress factory. So I got in there and they taught me to be a finisher, like to sew on buttons and something like that. And I tried to learn that, and that came very hard on me. I was going to teach some kids Hebrew. I don't know what happened, but it didn't happen. And you want to put on the air conditioner? Put on the air conditioner.
No, it's okay.
You're
Not
getting warm.
not while it's storming.
And I met people. I met a lot of people whom I know until this day. One guy was very serious with me. But I had a guy in Europe who bothered me. I shouldn't go with anybody. That's what chased me away from him. If I wrote him that I met a lot of people, he would say to me, you practically you wouldn't go with anybody. And there was one guy after me. Very interesting. So whatever it was, I was there only 5 months anyway. So anyway, I was staying for $8 a week. I was staying in a house, very religious, so religious. One time I come from maybe I made a lot of friends there. I don't know how I did it. I come Friday night, I'm hungry, I go to the kitchen and take a piece of holly. Because after all, religious people, Friday night was a big night. And she says to me, "You know, Hefty," she says, "holly costs money." I got into the room, I threw the holly back, and I cried myself to sleep. And that's what it was. Then I started to look for different way. With my own board, I don't remember, but anyway, whatever it is, this is the way things happen. That's what I went through.
How did you come to America?
To America, I waited for a visa. My father and mother were in the United States, and they asked me to come out to them. That's the only way somebody under 21 could get into the United States. To a father and mother, not to brothers or sisters. So that's the way it was.
Where were they, your father and mother? Where were they living in
In
America?
Brunswick.
With whom?
By themselves. They had an apartment. My brother Louis had a property at that time, and they lived in one of their apartments.
And so you came to where? Where did you come to?
I came to my father and mother. What a couch. And I was sleeping on the couch. Well,
How long had it been since you had seen them?
it wasn't long ago. They came in 1928, and I came into the United States in 1930.
So it's 2 years.
About something like that. A year and a half maybe. Well, anyway, I wanted to learn to play the piano. I bought a piano for $5, and I wanted to learn to play the piano. So somebody came to give me a lesson, and my father says he doesn't want to hear that noise, and that's all there is to it. And that's it. Look, my father used to go to sleep in Europe. Used to go to sleep 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I don't know. Go to school and eat before, but I don't remember that. A big bunch of friends came to my house. That was in Europe, and we were we were having a holiday fair in school, and quite a few kids, girls, no boys. We didn't go with boys when we went to school. That wasn't the style. We didn't go with boys when we were grown up, almost 18 years old, 16, 17 years old, but nothing so close like they do here now. So anyway, we were writing humor, and each one gave their opinion, and we made a little noise, and my father started to yell. He was in bed. Get out of here, everybody. I don't want to hear anything like that anymore. And people went home, and I was so offended that I can't forget it. I can't forget it. My father and mother used to argue. People are walking on the street would hear. That's the kind of life I had. You kids can't imagine. I never told you that.
Well,
You can't imagine. There is no such thing.
that's debatable.
From generation to generation, as they say.
No. So that's it.
I can attest to that one too.
So this is now, and when I got married, I had lousy too. I had lousy lived in the back of the store with not cockroaches, bedbugs. Bedbugs. When I was pregnant, we moved out, we moved to the apartment, and your father and I went to sleep someplace on the road, around Kennedy Alley somewhere, I don't know, and we fumigated. We brought everything that we had in the back of the store, and clothing, whatever else, and bedding, and we fumigated overnight. And we went to sleep someplace else. Without furniture, without anything, but we were satisfied to take it from. And that's the way it was. Look, what
When you were in New Brunswick, you went to work finally. You had to go to work to make a living.
I went to work for Chaim. When I was in New Brunswick, I opened up a class, a Hebrew class,
Yeah.
teach kids Hebrew. 10, 11 years old. Now Faye was one of the students. She was, I think, around 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few kids. And I taught them Hebrew. I also had a college girl who was going to college, wanted to learn Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
I taught her Hebrew.
Did you ever work in the store?
Wait a minute.
Oh.
I taught her Hebrew. And she enjoyed it so much. We used to come to her house to teach her. The kids used to come to my house, to my mother and father's house. Some house it was. And I didn't make that much. Then comes along my brother Chaim and says, look, you come and work for me. You'll make more money in my store than you're making now teaching the kids. I gave up everything and went to work for Chaim. And that's when it started. That's it.
When what started?
To work in the store.
Oh.
I got married when when I was still working in the store, I met your father
So you worked for Hein how long?
for years until I got married.
So that's how you learned the business.
Yes. Yes, I learned the business. I learned to speak English too.
When were you in Chicago?
Oh, Chicago. That's a story of my life again. My sister Bailey, she had a store. 2 stores she had at the time. And Ethel was a baby. She made me so miserable. She was jealous of her husband. She was actually jealous. I was with her about 6 months until she moved to Jersey.
Who?
Later,
She moved to Jersey?
she came back to Jersey.
Well, she had a store in Chicago?
Yes, 2 stores she had. He had stores.
Didn't you go to school in Chicago?
Yes, I went to school, yes.
What school did you go to?
At public school.
High school.
No, a public school, not a high school. I don't know. Maybe a high
To
school.
learn English? Was this to learn English?
To learn, to go to school, everything.
And you worked in a store?
I was there. I don't know if I worked in the store. I was there. I
When
was
did you go from Montreal to Chicago?
No. She made me come to Chicago.
From New Jersey. From New Jersey.
Yes. It's a whole chain of events. It's what can I tell you? I would have to sit for days and tell my life story.
So, how did you meet Dad?
I was in New Brunswick then. There was a show and they put me in the show. Dora was acting. She was a good actress.
Right.
My sister-in-law Dora. Her sister lived in Patterson, New Jersey.
What was her name?
Her name was Bobke, I think. And that Bobke had a daughter. She died in California. And her daughter and her husband, they were friends with your father. He was acting, and your father was acting. They were together.
Mm-hmm.
So Dora knew Bobke's daughter, of course. They were very close. They said that they know Jack, your father, and they made him come to New Brunswick. When we had a show with Dora and with other people, I don't remember, it's so many years.
In Paris?
In Paris, in New Brunswick.
What about Paris? Jack Paris?
Oh, Paris, I forgot Paris. Not Jack, his name was. I don't remember. That's right, he was the head of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they introduced me to your father, and we started to be in touch with each other. He from Patterson, and I was in New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
Through Bobke's son-in-law. Now you can open the window. That's right. All the way. Oh my goodness. So anyway, so that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came to Kennedy Henry, my troubles first started there with anti-Semitism, with working hard.
Well, why did you choose Kennedy Harry?
Because we were looking around for a store. And we were in Plattsburgh, New York, by my brother Dave. See, my brother Dave said, if you get a store somewhere, you open up, you don't have to, there was a thing called credit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry, we'll be responsible for you.
So that you could buy merchandise
Yes.
at credit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you buy merchandise. So a salesman came along and said there was a name of Kennedy Harry, a town by name of Kennedy Harry, which would be good to open up a store with.
Mhm.
So your father and I sat on a bus or on a train, I don't remember, and we went to Kennedy Hill. Boy, did we have a time there. Traveled not only Kennedy Hill, we were in Gloversville, we were in another town until we got there.
Mhm.
So we took this store. We had no choice. We had to get settled down. We were knocked out and tired out.
Did my father have any profession?
He was working in a knitting. Patterson was a knitting place, and
Silk, textile.
textile. So he was in textile
Uh-huh.
as a worker. He didn't have a job.
Uh-huh.
He didn't have a job when we got married.
It was bad times.
Of course, he didn't have a job.
Mhm.
I was the one that had a few dollars.
Mhm.
Because I was working, I was getting paid, and I saved it up.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't live with my father and mother. I lived in a room by door. That wasn't so good either.
Mhm.
I used to go into New York on a weekend and on Sunday
Mhm.
and spend with some friends in New York.
Mhm. Your brother Dave, he loved to sing when he was a youngster.
Oh, he ran away
What happened?
with a cancer,
Yeah,
and that was in Russia.
yeah. What did he do? How old was he?
He must have been about 13 years old.
Yeah, what happened?
And you have to ask Joe. Joe can tell you more about
You
it.
know the story.
Huh?
You tell the story. You know it.
I know it, but I don't remember anything. Remember, I wasn't there. I was there
The cantor came to the town to Shtetl.
with a big choir.
Yeah.
So he wanted to sing. They used to go, that was Russia.
Mhm.
So they used to go in deep Russia. But we lived, it wasn't deep Russia.
No.
It was Russia. But it was closer with Lithuania.
Lithuania.
Yes. And he ran away with the choir. And they let him go.
And
They couldn't stop him.
what did your father say? Your mother? How did
Didn't
they?
say anything. He just went.
How did they feel?
I don't know. I wasn't there. How should I know? He was away for a couple of years.
Right.
Why'd he come back?
They were finished.
Yeah.
They traveled enough.